Hey, Professor Homa here, back to part 2 of IronPigs EX03, and we're going to do some formulas to figure out percentages that are in these cells. We're also going to format the cells so they look like batting averages and they look like slugging percentages. If you're not familiar with slugging percentage, we'll find that out as well. Now for number 12, we're going to go to cell R3, which we're going to do batting average first because that's the one everybody knows. And if you don't know, batting average is just the at-bats or hits divided by at-bats to figure out basically your percentage of getting a hit, which 300 is usually a good batting average. If you get 1 out of 3, that's usually a good percentage in baseball. So we're going to go to cell R3, this last one here, and I'll just click on that particular cell. We're going to do 1, and then we're going to copy it to the entire column. Okay, so we're going to write our formula. We're just going to go in here to the formula bar, and we're going to put equals sum, doesn't matter if it's uppercase or lower, and then in our parentheses, when we type this, we're going to do F3 divided by D3. Now we're not going to use the numbers. What we're going to do is use the cell references. So we're going to use F3, which is our hits divided by our at-bats. Okay, so this is F3 and this is D3. So we're going to put in F3 divided by D3. And we use the slash, / to do that. And I'll finish off my parentheses and I'll just hit return. And this is what I come up with, 0.2349. Make sure you did it in the right order. You didn't do D3 divided by F3. So this is F3 divided by D3. And it's 234, which isn't a very good batting average, but batting averages actually show with 3 decimal points, not 4, and they don't usually put a 0 in front of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to format this. And actually what I'll do, I know on the sheet it says to do this each time, but we might as well format all of this because they're all going to be the same way. So, and let me go back and highlight all of these cells, and we're going to format these all the same way. The way to do this, we're going to go up here into number, not over to format. We're going to go over here to number, and when you click down on general, you're going to go all the way down to the bottom to more number formats. So I'm going to select more, and this will kind of bring up this format cells kind of window, which goes all the way back to Excel 2003. And we're going to go down to the very last one, which is custom, and I'm going to select custom. Now in this little area where it says general, you can actually just type in here. It doesn't really tell you, but you can, well, down here it says type the number format code. One of the using existing codes is a starting point. So you could start here, but I'm going to type in 0.000, and that's the way the batting average should show up. So again, I went to custom, and I'm going to type in here 0.000, and I'm going to hit OK. And that's the way the batting average should look, and all of these averages should look the same way. So I shouldn't have to do that again. All the formats that we do here should have 3 decimal points, and they should just start off with a point without a 0. There's no % sign or anything like that in batting averages. Okay, so after we did 1, this is pretty easy. I'm going to grab this fill handle, and you just kind of hover over this bottom corner here and just drag down. And what this does is it copies the relative reference so that for this one it did F3 and D3. For this one, it's going to do F4 and D4, and so on. So that will copy all of the formulas down, except it'll update the cells that are being referenced. So you'll see all the batting averages, and they should all be somewhere, 0.2. Their low ones may be at like 0.1, and higher ones are going to be at like 0.3. 325, that's a good batting average. 308 is a good batting average. Okay, so that's batting average, and that's number 13 where we did that. Now what we're going to do, and also 14 is just formatting the cells. So we did that already. We also did 14. Okay, 15 says write a formula in cell P3 that calculates on base percentage. So that's this one here. On base percentage takes hits, which is F3, and it also adds the walks, which are L3. So we have to make sure we're just going to write a formula that adds them and then also divides by the at-bats. Okay, so we're going to go in here and start it off, and remember we're going to be on this cell, and we're going to do equals sum, and then to put this together we're going to put parentheses first, we're going to do F3, which again is the hits, and then we're going to add, so we could use plus, and we're going to add L3, which is this cell here, which is the walks. BB is bases on balls, that's walks, but we're not going to use the number, we're going to use the cell reference, so we're going to use L3. Now after we do that, we're putting in parentheses first, then we're going to put a forward slash, and we're going to divide by D3, which is the at-bats. And that'll figure out on-base percentage, which should be higher than the batting average because you're throwing walks in there. So I'm going to finish it off by doing D3. Okay, and it doesn't matter if I use a capital letter, and I'll hit return. And you can see that that's higher. That's 329 because this guy had a lot of walks. He had like close to 40 walks. Same thing here. Grab the fill handle, drag all the way down, and it'll copy all the reference to all the other cells. And it'll update everybody's on-base percentage. All right, that just leaves us one more category to figure out here. And again, that was 16. We did the formula as 15. The fill handle was 16. And now 17, we're almost done here, is the slugging percentage, which another version I used to make people add up the doubles, triples, home runs, and do 2 times doubles, 3 times triples, 4 times. We don't have to do that because actually they have the total bases here. Total bases add up the home runs, the triples, the doubles, and they actually give you 4 bases for a home run, 3 bases for a triple, 2 bases for a double, and 1 base for a single. So we have that figured out. So this will be real easy to do. We don't have a whole lot of math to do for this one. So again, for slugging percentage, this is number 17. It's in cell Q3, and what we're going to do is just do the total bases divided by at-bats. So this one will be pretty simple too. We'll do equals, we'll do sum, and then in parentheses, the total bases is K3, which is right here. So I'm going to do K3 divided by the at-bats again. It's just like getting, how many points you got in a test, like a 97% or something like that. So again, our total that they had, the total chances is at-bats, which is D3. So divided by D3, I'll finish off my parentheses here, and then I'll hit return to kind of run the calculation. And there it is. It's saying 346. And I'll look at my Acrobat file, and here, that's what they had there. And remember, don't type in the numbers. Make sure you do the formulas, because I'm going to check that. All right, so back here, this is easy now. We could just grab the fill handle, drag it down, and there's all the slugging percentages. If I check my Acrobat file, I'll see the last one there is 0.433, and I got them right. So I think I got all my figures right here. They're all formatted correctly. And the only thing I want to do now is just to make it look a little bit nicer is highlight alternate. I'm going to highlight alternate rows here, and I'm going to do the whole row. You could highlight just the cell going across, but that takes a little longer. You could go 4 and just hold your control key and go 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, and you can see this goes all the way across, and I missed one here. Let me hold control and go on 6, and you can see what it does, and that's just highlighted right now, but I just want to fill them. I'm going to use my paint bucket, and I'm just going to fill it with a light, maybe I'll use a light gray, okay, just to kind of, that's called banding. I think in the book that calls it banding. It helps you see the values going across a row. And actually, one thing I forgot here, back from one of the early, I think it's back in step 8, I think I forgot this, but I'm going to highlight this cell here and give it a light gray fill as well. I forgot to do that earlier, and that's about it.